Welcome to ERP Bugs. So last session we had a discussion about what is ERP and different aspects of ERP, different functions of ERP, different functions matched or mapped with the education or the qualification one professional can have, uh, and what they can plan as ERP as their uh, career or a skill or a profession we have discussed in the previous session. So today's topic, this session topic is basically the ERP system. I mean, what are the structures that are used in ERP system? So before we start or before we get into the ERP, the structures that are there in ERP, first of all, let us have a look at what exactly the structure is from a layman's experience point of view, or for someone who have not taken structure into a consideration of study. So this is the agenda for today. We'll have we'll see what exactly the structure is. Then we will see what is the importance of a structure for an enterprise, then different types of structure, then what exactly the enterprise structure or organization structure or legal structure. Then we will look at what is financial structure or accounting structure, and then different other structures that are useful in ERP system and their the applicable functionalities within an enterprise or enterprise resource planning. So what is the structure? Just take an example that an individual wants to construct a house for his personal use. What options he will choose? If you look at the options that are provided, what option is relevant for his objective of getting a house constructed? So the first thing, will he go for selecting the colors for his wall before construction of a house? No. Will he go for the purchase of curtain and the colors of curtains? No. So the third option, he will think about the size. What should be the room size? Because he need to arrange the land accordingly. Because he need to plan for his budget. Basically, it is interdependent on various factors like the room size, the budget, the purpose, who is going to stay, how many people are going to stay. There are many factors that influences the decision of constructing a house. Similarly, just think from the entrepreneur mindset what an organization structure should have. What is the structure an organization should have? So you need that structural thinking. The first part is the structural thinking. Before we think like an entrepreneur, we have to think as we have to have that thinking to build a structure in the mind. So the individual will connect, arrange, organize, a lot of things. What is the requirement? Do I need to have a house? Do I have the resources like money, land, building, your structure, design, people to stay inside it. So then the finalize the design before actually he starts the construction of a house. He will look at various aspects. Then he will allocate the land. Okay, this much area I want to construct my bedroom. This much area I want to construct my living room. So he will allocate the land. Then he will identify. So it goes in a structural way to accomplish the objective, which is nothing but a social objective. But if you think what an enterprise is having as an objective, it is entrepreneur thinking. So the structure has a lot of dependencies like objective, dependency, positioning, external factors, arrangements. I mean, what arrangements I have to do, what consolidated result I will get, whether I will be able to stay inside the house or not, whether I will, what will be the after effect. So there are certain components which depends on the structure and which influences the decision of designing a structure. So one should have the design thinking, the structural thinking, and entrepreneur mindset to understand the enterprise structure. Okay, let's move to the next slide where we have the importance of structure. What importance we have? I mean, what are the importances that we have for an enterprise? What benefits we are getting from a designed structure? So these are some of the key benefits that is derived for an enterprise if enterprise have a proper design, proper structural design. So what is that? The first thing is that the systematic management. If you have a structure, then you can ask, you can have the reports, you can have the budgets, everything. It's under systematic management. Then the next process is process benchmark. For each of the process that you think that will be part of your enterprise, it will have the benchmark. Okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is what the objective of this particular process. Unless you have a proper structure, then that is not possible. Impact analysis. What is impact analysis? An entrepreneur or an organization or an enterprise will be able to do the impact analysis only if he has a structure. Unless until the enterprise define that, okay, what are the locations that I will operate, from where I will operate my business. If that is not structurized, how that impact analysis will be conducted? It's not possible. So then we have the report and drill down. If you do not have a structure, you will not get a proper report. If the information will be haphazard, it will be here and there, and you will not, I mean, the enterprise will not be able to correlate the information with each other. Then faster communication. If the enterprise have a proper structure, the faster communication is possible because they are all integrated. Each function within the enterprise will have an integration. So they will have the real-time data. Instant information can be possible for the leadership or the management or the entrepreneur who is managing this particular business. Now, exchange of information. If the structures are not talking to each other, there are multiple structures in an enterprise. There are financial structure, organization structure, human resource structure, product structure, market structure. Anything you take within an enterprise have some structures, and they are integrated and they share the information with each other for completion of different functions and process. Then the next one, accuracy and transparency. If there is no structure, what will happen? Who is taking care of human resource? Who is taking care of accounts? Who is going to take care of entering the data? Who is going to take care of production of material? I mean the finished goods. So the accuracy will come from the right person who is taking care of it and having the ownership. The next one is the ownership. If the structure is designed in a proper way, an ownership can be defined that, okay, this person is going to lead my production. This person is going to lead my operations. This person is going to lead my finance. So ownership can be defined on top of the structure and based on the elements that are interlinked in a structure. So the elements are finance department, HR department. These are the elements. Then audit and control. Yes, if we have the ownership, then definitely it will be easier for the audit team to audit. Okay, what this is the definition of objective, that okay, we will have 5,000 unit per month production. Now the production manager is responsible to answer whether it is achieved or not. If it is not achieved, what are the challenges? So it is, the leadership can audit and control on the functioning of a particular department or departments based on the structure. If the structure is not designed, then it is just impossible, next to impossible. Then the design thinking. Then one person, at the beginning of starting the business, when the entrepreneur started thinking about the business, they must have thought through that, okay, what my organization will look like, how the information, how the things will be structured. That is something, but design thinking, anyone who is planning to be an entrepreneur to start some business, he should have that design thinking to understand that the scope of the business, the operation of the business, the expansion of the business, the future plan of the business, consolidating everything. The entrepreneur or the leadership will be able to decide what would be the structure of an organization and how that structure will be flexible enough to do modification as and when required or based on the demand from the market. Okay. Now, a couple of benefits. The outcome, that is it. Through a proper structure or design structure, you can have an integrated system, function mapping. Each element can be mapped with a function, uninterrupted business flow. So because of integrated ecosystem, you can have an uninterrupted business flow. Then instance access to various strategies. If the structure is properly designed, then the leadership can pick up each element to identify what is the status over there, what is going on in my production, what is going on in my finance. So that's one. Then the defect trackability. Defect trackability is very important because if the defects are not identified at the right time, then the organization may go for a loss. Then identification of non-performing assets and non-performing resources. If the structure is designed where the non, the performing, the assets are deployed or the resources are deployed, that can be audited or reviewed by the leadership. Then decentralized decision making. So when the structure is in a designed pattern or in a well-designed structure, the decision making can be decentralized. For a particular element, if there is a requirement to take a decision, then the leadership or the management can take a decision for that particular element only without impacting the others. Mitigation of risk, exactly, the same thing, identification of NPA and NPR, then planned action. So depending on which area is, impacting more or which area requires the action plan, that can be taken care of by the management. Now, the next, here are the different types of enterprise structure. The first one is the single org structure. We call it a single org because of at till a particular level it becomes single org where you have the organization, then you have the operation where you have the operation, then what business you are doing. So it goes like, it's particularly, the small and middle business, they operate in a particular geography. They do not go beyond that geography. They can be defined as single org structure. But at some point in time, if you look at this pictorial presentation, when it goes to the account level, it becomes a multi-org. But that is not considered as multi-org because the organization from top to bottom, top to till the business type or line of business, it is single, single, and single. So it's a single org structure. Then this is a complex org structure, multi-org structure, where particularly the enterprises with multiple businesses, multiple offices, multiple locations, multiple geographies they operate, then different geographies, different business. But end of the day, it's all about the performance of the entity. That is, in this example, it is PNC, where we have multiple entities, multiple business, multiple location, but consolidated result is the objective of the business. So they have designed the structure in a way at any point in time, if they want to see what is the profit from my petro business, what is the profit from my auto business, what is the profit from my operation in United States, or what is the profit from my telecom business at Abu Dhabi in a particular location, I can have the access to that if I have a proper structure, and that is defined in the enterprise resource planning, our ERP application. So it's a clear definition where the complexity of report, complexity of structure is there, then you need to have, or you need to choose the right ERP system instead of choosing a ERP that is applicable for small and middle business. You should go for ERP which is applicable for enterprise and having the flexibility or the functionalities to cater these type of requirements. Okay. Now the next, the biggest one is what is enterprise structure and what are the key countries considerations. So enterprise structure is nothing but what is your organization structure. Enterprise organizations are alternate. So after that, you have the legal structure. Legal structure is nothing but where you are getting registered. Why you need to register? Because it has some relationship with the tax liability, because the balance sheet, tax liability, everything will be prepared based on your organization structure. If that is a legal entity, then all the reports need to be submitted to the local authority. I mean, the local authority, federal authority, or state government, whatever. So these are the key considerations where you need to look at what is the reporting requirement, what type of report the management is looking for, whether they want a balance sheet at the company level, whether they want a balance sheet at a particular legal entity level or a particular location level, what are the requirements from the government agencies, whether the government mandates that, okay, if you are doing business in this area, you have to submit a balance sheet. Now, your structure should accommodate the business with this type of structure, identification of your business and nature of your business. Based on your identification and nature, it should be designed in the structure. Then what are the trade policies? Okay, you cannot do business this area, you can do business that area. So all this part of considered as critical decision points for the organization to define the structure. Now, line of business, as we saw that every line of business, if we have to report separately, then it should be designed in a structure so that all the related information flow and get consolidated into that line of business, and we are able to create a financial report or balance sheet or whatever, tax or whatever. So then the next one, the applicable business function. So based on the applicable, okay, if I do not have anything to receive, only I am manufacturing, and another entity of the same enterprise is selling. So those kind of decisions or those kind of information is required or considered at the time of designing a structure of an entity. And why this is important? Because the enterprise structure is the backbone of an ERP system. Without that, the ERP system will not work. Okay. Now, who are all the users? The users of this information, basically the management, government, employee, investor, banks, and the tax authority. End of the day, it's tax authority because the tax liability of an enterprise is decided based on the structure of your organization, based on the legal identity of the organization. how many legal entities are part of the entire group of business. So that is important. Now the next important part is, which is connected and again mandatory in an organization, that is financial structure or accounting structure. Now, what are the key concerns? So, whatever we have discussed in the organization structure or enterprise structure, that becomes the key for the financial structure as well, because wherever the finance is related, those entities or those elements of that particular structure will be linked with the financial structure, so that the financial transaction or the activities performed in various functions get recorded in form of transaction or in form of journals, in form of the entries in the ERP system. Now the accounting process. So when you think of designing a financial structure, you need to think what accounting process you have to follow. So there are multiple accounting process, like you have US GAAP, you have India accounting system. Every country have their own accounting system, and on top of that you have IFRS. So based on the process that you are going to follow in the enterprise, it is the structure will also change. Now, accounting standards are quite related to the process. Accounting flow, how the accounting will flow from different transactions that are happening through different functions, like you have sold a product, you have bought something for the organization. How the accounting will flow from the different elements of your enterprise structure or different resources from of your enterprise structure to your financial structure. Now, the next one is the financial information. What financial information are required for the management, for the government, for the legal authorities? So that is also important. Based on that, the structure of your the financial structure of an entity will be designed. Now, the next one is the cost center and profit center. Why cost center and profit center is important? Because the accounting information for creating a profit and loss account or balance sheet are contributed from this cost center and profit center. Basically, to calculate your profit and loss, all the financial information. Okay. Now, next is the financial control system. Financial control system is nothing but where you have, you can decide what kind of budgeting I will have, what kind of tracking we can have, what kind of audit policies or analysis we can do. So that is also important when an enterprise decide to go for a structural design. Okay, so the next one is, what is the performance evaluation metrics? Now, how do how do enterprise review their performance? It's always through the profit, through the loss, through the balances. So financial structure should be designed in such a way that these informations are useful for the management to understand whether the business is performing well, business is performing, going on loss or whatever. Then the source of financial information. Now, this is considered because whatever source we have for the financial information should be part of the financial structure. Otherwise, the reports, the output will be incomplete or inaccurate. So, all the elements that are contributing as a source for the financial information should be part of your financial structure. Then the stack structure and geographical compliances. So these are the key considerations that you should have when you are designing your financial structure or accounting structure. And the users are again the management, and here the addition is the departments within the organizations. Whether all the departments are, those who can use this information should be part of, they will give the input and they will take the output as well. Now, in the next slide, we will see what other, apart from organization structure and financial structure, what are the other structures that we have? We have department structure, because if we do not define the department structure, we will not get to know who is owning which department or who is leading which department. Then position structure, obviously, to have approvals, to have delegation of authority, that should be a position structure. Product structure, yes, if you have a bill of material or a product, suppose say take the example of a car. Now, if car is the output, what are the components? What are the kit? The seat, the toolkit, the tires, the engine. So we should have a hierarchy of the product so that the production department or procurement department can make use of those inputs. Workday structure, yes, this is again related to what are the shift timings, what benefits will get. It is interlinked with the compensation and benefit, production management, procurement management, everything. Then the tax structure, definitely. Countries like in US and other areas where you have location-based tax, then you should understand what is the tax structure. Then the market structure, to do the market analysis, to prepare the go-to-market strategy. We should have the market structure. Inventory structure, yes, for storage, costing, financials, for everything, we should have a good inventory structure. So these are the additional structures which will come when we get into those areas or those functions. After we start the financial structure or organization structure and then financial structure. These two structures are the backbone to run the business, but based on the requirement, based on the organization's business process, these additional structures will be required and be defined by the different function owners. Like in ERP, we have different functions and different processes. So these functions will be defined. We will discuss them when we get into the next level of designing the structure. And the next one. So the next topic, is about the financial structure and organization structure. We will see how they are defined in an ERP system. So for our understanding point of view, and we are focused on Oracle Fusion. So from this class onwards, all the classes will be related, all the sessions will be related to Fusion and the functions of Fusion. Next session, we will see how the organization structure and financial structure are designed and how that will be implemented, how we can implement that in Fusion. Thank you. Any questions? You can reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. Thank you.